Welcome to the Manda Recaps. This is The Mandalorian Episode 1. If you want a quick spoiler-free review to know if you should watch it or not, yes, absolutely, I loved it. It's a really cool vibe, sort of a western, but in Star Wars. There's some sweet action and a lot of funny stuff without it being overwhelming or corny, so yeah, I'm excited to see where this show goes. So it begins on a cold, icy planet. A Mandalorian walks into a bar. Now, my girlfriend, who's not a big Star Wars fan, asked, hey, is that a Boba Fett? To which the answer is, kind of? You don't have to know much Star Wars lore to understand the show, but just to clarify, the Mandalorians are a race of people, easily identifiable because they wear this super sweet Boba Fett armor. Boba Fett was one, the most famous because he was the only one in the original Star Wars, and not all Mandalorians are bounty hunters, but I think a lot of them are because that's kind of what they're into. So this Mandalorian is of yet unnamed, but he is a big badass, takes these guys out. He saved this smarmy blue alien guy, but he's actually here to collect a bounty on him.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
He calls a cab back to his ship. I love the cool alien stuff, like this guy summons a cab by playing the flute. The Mandalorian specifically requests no droids, so watch out for that later. He might hate them for some reason. So he gets this funny human pilot who warns them to watch out for some sort of alien. And oh, one gets him! Yeah, it's coming for him. It's a giant walrus monster! Mandalorian's unconcerned. He cattle prods it right off his ship, and they are off. Funny blue alien talks for a while about how he's got to use the bathroom, which is kind of hilarious.
If you've never seen a fledgling Mithril evacuate your thorax, you're a lucky guy, trust me.
And he finds our Mandalorian has a bunch of his marks frozen in carbonite, just like Hanny Solo. And he gets himself frozen too. Back on his home base planet, goes to another bar that's full of super cool practical effect aliens. I love the vibe, brings us back to the original Star Wars cantina. He talks to his bounty hunter boss, Carl Weathers. Apparently they're in a bounty hunting guild, and they're given these little pucks that have the marks on them. Carl Weathers tries to pay him in Imperial credits, but Mandalorian's like, yo, that's not good anymore, the Empire's fallen. Yeah, that's where this takes place, by the way, is right after the original trilogy, the Empire's fallen, and the galaxy is now in this sort of limbo. Now, Carl Weathers doesn't have any more good marks for him, except for one, off the record. So Mandalorian goes to talk to the client, and he's got a bunch of stormtrooper bodyguards. Yeah, their armor's all dirty and stuff, cause, again, the Empire's fallen, they're basically just hired mercenaries now. I mean, they probably could have found some Windex or something to keep their armor clean, but I'm not gonna tell them how to live their lives. So the client is that actor who talks real funny.
He said you were the best in the parsec.
And he's like, hey, I can't tell you anything about the mark except for where they are. Nerdy scientist-seeming guy is like, hey, we need them alive, but this guy's like, dead would be okay. Now, the exciting thing is he's paying in Beskar steel. They don't go into much detail, but what we can gather is Beskar is a Mandalorian metal from their home planet. In fact, our Mandalorian goes to meet a hot Mandalorian chick. It's part of their whole culture, by the way. They never take their helmets off. I wonder if Pedro Pascal ever will. Now, the Beskar steel he just got, apparently the reason it's so valuable is because she could smith it down into some sweet armor. They also talk about how the rest of the money will help sponsor many foundlings, of which he was once one. We get some vague flashbacks here. Basically, I think foundlings are young Mandalorians that are lost or spread throughout the galaxy, and they're trying to unite them all, bring them back together. So Mandalorian goes to a rocky planet where he's attacked by one of these animals, kind of like a mini T-Rex frog. Someone tranks them and saves them. It's this little alien guy. He's hilarious because he ends every conversation in the best possible way.
I have spoken.
He's gonna help by teaching the Mandalorian to ride one of these animals called a blurg. Long story short, he gets it, and they ride off to where his bounty is. Mandalorian's scouting it out, but there's immediately a complication. A bounty hunting droid is here first. This droid is not much for subtlety. He goes in guns blazing, and even though the Mandalorian doesn't like droids, they work together for this one. Once they're surrounded, the droid's like, oh, it's in my protocols, I can't be caught. Activating self-destruct. Mandalorian's like, whoa, no, okay, hold off on that, and it's a funny running joke. He tries it multiple times. In the end, they bring out the laser Gatling gun, and they're in big trouble, but Mandalorian, boom, pulls off some sick tricks and grabs it for himself. Pew, 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 takes them all out. They get inside the bunker, but their locator's pointing to a little baby crib. Oh my god, it's a baby Yoda! I don't even know what species Yoda was. As far as I know, Yoda was the only one we ever saw. Whatever it's called, though, it's super cute. So when Droid's gonna blast him, boom, Mandalorian takes him out. He's not killing a baby. And that's how The Mandalorian Episode 1 comes to an end. Hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing weekly Mandalorian recaps, plus lots of other cool shows.